everyone, my name is Allie and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a really awful and kind of embarrassing wrap-up and TBR video. This is also going to be a half TBR video because by September 15th I'm going to be starting the Latinx Book Bingo readathon, so I'll have a separate TBR video for that half of the month and then the other half of October. So to start off with the wrap-up, if you are following my Twitter, which you should be, it's at AllieMBooks, you will know that I have been in a pretty big reading slump. So unfortunately, the only book I've been able to finish for this month has been To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. Now, this is actually a reread of this book because I read this book I think when I was about maybe 19 years old, so it was a few years ago. And I absolutely loved it the first time I read it. I loved it the second time I read it, so definitely still 5 out of 5 stars for me. Also, I was rereading this because the movie just came out and I decided that I wanted to reread it because I kind of forgot a lot of the things that happened in this book. But like I said, unfortunately I did have a bit of a reading slump all month. It was just like I kept starting books, trying to read them, and it just wasn't happening for me. I don't really know what it was about this month that like put me into this reading slump, but it was super annoying and I really wish it didn't happen. I feel like it's kind of a combination of me being obsessed with Mamma Mia and just listening to a bunch of ABBA songs all the time and not really having a book that I can read while listening to ABBA. And then also I went to Disneyland in the middle of the month and that just kind of threw me off as well. So I think I started like maybe 3 other books this month and it just was not happening for me. The other books that I started this month were like Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kerri Maniscalco. I started To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. I started The Start of Me and You by Emery Lord. I started an arc that I actually just lost, which was Give the Dark My Love by Beth Revis. And I also started another arc that I'm actually currently reading and is absolutely amazing. So before I move on to that arc, I do want to talk about this book just a little bit. If you don't know what this book is about, I don't know what rock you've been living under, but the movie just came out. So if you are the type of person that wants to watch the movie instead of reading the book, go to Netflix, it's on there, it's amazing. I recommend it so highly. I've watched it probably around 3 or 4 times. I absolutely love it. But this book is about Lara Jean and she has had a lot of crushes in her lifetime and she has also written a lot of love letters to those crushes that she has never sent out. So one day those letters end up getting sent out by some force that she is not aware of, and then she has to kind of deal with the repercussions of those letters being sent out and kind of dealing with all the boys that she's had crushes on. But basically this follows Lara Jean and her fake relationship with one of the boys that she sent a letter to, and that is Peter Kay. He's like one of the most popular guys in school, and they start a fake relationship to kind of piss off his ex-girlfriend and also to kind of get one of the other boys that she sent a letter to off her trail because she might have had a little crush on the guy that her sister was dating. So it's a little awkward, but I absolutely love this book. I love this series so much. I also was able to get it in the movie cover edition, which I was really excited about because I don't own this book anyway. So I wanted this beautiful edition with Lana Condor on it. And I don't know, I just love it. I don't know if I'm going to continue on with the series. I might just for like John Ambrose because I love John Ambrose, but we'll see. I don't know. It's up in the air at this moment. Okay, on to the other arc that I was reading that I'm absolutely loving and I think is kind of bringing me out of that awful book reading slump that I was in. That book is Bring Me Their Hearts by Sarah Wolf, and I absolutely am freaking loving this book so much. I've tweeted about it a lot. I've given it a lot of praise. I think I'm about 80 pages in. No, I'm 90 pages in. So I'm in a pretty good chunk of the book and I'm absolutely loving it. I love the writing. I love the plot and I just love everything about this like fantasy world. So basically this is about a girl and she is heartless, so she doesn't have a heart and her heart belongs to this witch that took her heart and she has to go and woo this prince and take his heart to get hers back. So that might be kind of a confusing way to explain this book. I'm just really bad at explaining books, but I am absolutely loving it so far. I have to admit though that I had really low expectations going into this book, mostly because of the cover. I kind of did a little bit of judging a book by its cover and I just saw it and I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna be the kind of fantasy that I like. I don't think it's gonna be for me. but I was actually really pleasantly surprised about how well this fantasy world is constructed, and I'm also really genuinely surprised about the diversity that's in this book, because when I saw Sarah J Maas on the cover somewhere, I think it's like for fans of Sarah J Maas, I was a little worried, honestly, about the diversity in this book, because I know that a lot of books that are kind of compared to Sarah J Maas's books are lacking in the diversity department. So I was a little nervous, admittedly, but so far I've actually seen a lot of diversity, especially racial diversity, in this book, and it's very, very welcoming and very reassuring, and I'm definitely not having those like weird vibes from this book. So I'm definitely glad that it didn't let me down in that department. But yeah, this is actually an ARC copy of this book. I think this book came out in June, so I'm a little late to reading this ARC. I wasn't sent it from a publisher or anything, I actually just won it in a giveaway, so I don't feel so bad, but I think I might actually buy myself a legit copy of this book, which I wasn't planning on doing before reading it. So I'm really glad. This is easily and quickly becoming one of my new favorite books, and I definitely recommend you try it out. You give it a chance if you haven't. And yeah, because I don't hear anybody talking about this book really. I've never like seen any of my friends on Twitter or Instagram or really anywhere talking about this book, and I think it's definitely a diamond in the rough. It's kind of flown really under the radar, and I definitely recommend trying it out. Okay, so on to my TBR for the first half of September. I have a few books in this stack, but I don't know if I'm going to get to every single one of these books, so I just kind of want to give myself some options of like what to read this month. And yeah, two of them are contemporary, and one of them is like a fantasy dystopian sort of book. So the first one in this stack is one I just got recently as a used book, and that is The Young Elites by Marie Lu, and I am really excited to get to this book. I haven't really read any other Marie Lu books except for Warcross, and I absolutely loved it. And this one I think is kind of a villain origin story, so I'm very intrigued by that, because I absolutely love any sort of like villain or morally gray character, and I think this is definitely going to be right up my alley. The next book is one that I have been wanting to read ever since I got it, and that is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. And I am really excited to get to this one. You can hardly see it because it's so overexposed compared to like my face, but I am definitely really excited to get to this book. I'm pretty sure that it's about a girl and she travels to Italy to find her father, I think. I'm pretty sure that her mom recently died, and then she's going to find her birth father. I don't know if that's completely the right synopsis for this book, but it sounds really interesting, and I definitely want to read more books that are set outside of the US. And I think that this is kind of an interesting and fun place to start, because I've heard that it's really good. And yeah, I also want to get Love and Luck at some point, because I've heard that one's also really good, but we'll see if I like this one first. And the very last one that I want to read before I get into the Latinx book bingo is From Twinkle with Love by Sandhya Menon, and I absolutely loved When Dimple Met Rishi, and I read that last year and it was so amazing. I absolutely loved it, and I immediately got this book when it came out, and it's just so gorgeous. I love this cover so much. It's just like so beautiful, and just I love it. It's so cute. And I've really been wanting to get to this book ever since I got it, ever since it came out, even before it came out. And this one is told, I'm pretty sure, in letters, I think. And it's basically like a You Got Mail sort of situation where she has a crush on this guy and she's emailing this person and she thinks it's the guy that she has a crush on, but it might not actually be that guy. And yeah, so I think it sounds really cool and really interesting. I've heard some pretty good reviews about it, and I'm just really excited because it's Sandhya Menon and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to love it. Okay, so that was all of the books that I A, read, B, kind of sort of read, and C, am possibly going to read before the Latinx Book Bingo readathon. I really hope that I can get to some more books because I'm not exactly behind on my Goodreads challenge, I'm actually, I think, at 38 books out of 50, which is pretty good, but I just feel like I've been slowing down on my reading, which is kind of annoying. But now that I'm back in school, I have a lot more time to read, which is kind of funny because you would think I'd have less time to read, but I love to read on the bus, and I love to read before class and like between classes and stuff like that, so I definitely have some more opportunities to read now that I'm back in school. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Also go ahead and follow my Instagram, my Twitter, my Goodreads, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!